everybody. Welcome to the episode 60 pre-shoot live show. I guess we're going to call it that, whatever. We've got Super Key Grip Joe is in the in Studio A tonight, so we're here for that. So we've got the laptop out. Aaron's not doing it right now, but Joe will. Yeah, how about that? Hands-free. Good
nice.
for you.
I like it.
So yeah, Joe's out there taking your comments and your questions. So anything you guys want to ask or maybe filter it into our recording, maybe. Sometimes we get good comments and questions that we end up using into our show. So if there's something that maybe you think we ought to address, then perhaps throw that on there and we'll maybe add it to the show. Be cool.
We did have episode 59, kind of a surprise. Look at that Zoom feature. That surprise drop a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
So it's just a little short thing about the food and our interview with Doug Bentz, the VP of Digital Media.
Yes.
I think I did that right.
No. Marketing and digital.
Marketing digital. Yes. Yeah, I knew I messed it up. Good interview. He's actually our first repeat interview. We had him on last year during the playoffs. So check it out. He goes over all the jerseys, which right behind Paul's head. This one just came out yesterday, right? Last night's game?
Yeah, last night's game.
They're going to do a whole bunch of more this season. So he gives... he didn't show all of them. He didn't have all of them with him, but he had a few of them with him.
I think he showed 3 of them off.
Yeah, and they're pretty cool. But along with the jersey, they're going to do like some of the cups and stuff, and so it's kind of, you'll see it in other places too, not just on the jersey. Yeah,
and they had those cups obviously for the Los Tibbs night, and they're pretty sweet. They had that blue spiderweb one. I don't think we have it here on the set. No, so we had it earlier. It was like kind of a blue spiderweb looking kind of one, which looked really cool. What's that?
I stole it and brought it home.
Nice.
You stole it, brought it home. Okay, stole it. It's his. So whatever. But yeah, so there was that cup. We have that one that we had on the set. Just check one of our earlier videos. Very
last week, I think.
It's like last week was. Yeah. So check that one out. You can see the cup that was on the set if you're interested. They are very sturdy, by the way. They don't flex as much as those other plastic ones did.
Right.
They're very sturdy plastic. So it's really nice. So there's that. Then they had the Los Tibbs ones that were there, and any of the theme nights they're going to do the same thing. They're going to have cups that are available for you to purchase when you get your beer. I think it's like $15. You get the commemorative cup as well. So really cool. If you like the designs, they're going to have a different design for each of the themes. So something to look for.
Perfect. You got any questions, Joe?
No, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
I was gonna say I'm not sure how long the cups run, but yeah, it's nice that they're swatching out. And the Los Tiburones cup looked amazing, and I was like, I wish I was there tonight because it's the same design that's on the jersey behind Paul.
Yeah. So he said, make sure you get that cup. If you like it, make sure you get it like as soon as you get there because they will sell out by the second period.
They're only doing limited quantities, so they're not stuck with a bunch of inventory.
Right.
Also,
so if you like it, you get it. Basically, is what it comes down to. So.
Also, it was funny because I was looking at a lot of the Twitter responses on the Sharks official, and they were like, "Do we need to buy the beer with it? Because it's not available at the normal food concession stands. It's only at the beer carts. But I can say from personal experience, they will sell you that it's just not at a discount. You're paying full price for an empty cup."
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, it's unfortunate. It'd be nice if you can get the cup. Maybe they'll put it in the Shark store or something. But I think they had, like you said, limited quantities. So
I would think they should put it in it's only the beer stands, but maybe also the 2 main food places. Just you can put a soda in it or something.
Yeah.
That way you're not what if a kid wants to buy it, right?
Sure.
16-year-old kid, they're not gonna be able to get a beer.
Well, they have them out all the classics. So I'm sure you can fill it up with something else. If they're willing to sell it to you with no beer in it, I'm sure they'll sell it to you with.
True.
Pepsi in it or something.
Oh, they are in the classics.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm saying. They should put them in the classics.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said they're only in the beer.
They're only in the beers, as far as I could tell.
Like the little beer kiosks that are off the side.
I definitely saw them when I didn't go to the beer kiosk.
Oh, all right. So that's fine. Fill it up with soda.
Either way, if you're interested, find it. And then when you do find it, you got to pick it up right away.
And there you go. All right, I do actually have another question. One is the first one is a comment. Every time we have Los Tiburones, we lose. Every time we've had one of those nights, we've lost.
Really? Is that a stat?
That's a stat according to Joseph
Stockton. No. Every time this season or every time?
Well, so far they'd be 1 for 1, right? This season.
Okay, this season.
I couldn't tell you how
they didn't do that last year. It was different. It was a different.
I have 4 different jerseys now.
But it was a different design. It wasn't that.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, different design. But still Los Tiburones. It's every year they do it. So.
All right. So I have a question from Eduardo Gonzalez. Hey, guys. My question is, what do you expect on this road trip in regards to results?
Buffalo first.
We're gonna cover that in our episode, but
Okay.
I'm
Who are
not
we
gonna
playing?
not
Yeah.
answer. I'm just saying we'll also be covering this in our episode that we're gonna record later. We're playing in Buffalo again. I think the Sharks are gonna take it to Buffalo because I feel like that win or that game last night should have been a win. I feel like they also felt like that. They said that in some of the post-game interviews.
Noah mentioned thoughts on the Buffalo game. Thought it was very much a winnable game.
It was. I think the Sabres just capitalized on the Sharks' mistakes, and the Sharks couldn't score on a few of their pretty prime opportunities. Marc came up kind of big on some of those saves.
Yeah.
I did mention this in the Slack chat. I don't know if you saw it or not. Like, after the first maybe like 10 minutes of the game, I'm like, this is going to be one of those games we're not going to get a bounce.
Yeah.
We had the one that was like a redirect off the post. There was a bunch of them that it was just in the front of the net with like 3 Sharks and just the goalie, and it was like nothing's happening. And I'm probably over exaggerating, but it's what I see.
No, it's frustrating.
Well,
but it was like it's just going to be one of those nights that we're not going to get that bounce that we need.
But the funny thing is that the Sorensen goal, I thought because I was sitting in 104.
that was
down at
okay.
the
That
bottom
was
there.
actually
So seeing that goal, when I was there, it looked like he just tipped it. It was just a beautiful tip. I didn't realize until after the fact because you only get so much in terms of replays while you're there at the arena. But I mean, you look at TV, you have the benefit of them breaking down the play for you, and then you also have
slow,
going back and forth if you really wanted to, and they're gonna do it for you slow motion anyway.
Right.
So you get that benefit when you're watching on TV. When you're sitting at the arena, you don't really get that. You get like one extra look at the jumbotron. That's pretty much it. So come to find out, he basically was going for a stop, and it ricocheted off of his
he
skate.
turned his skate.
Yeah.
To get it.
his stick. The defenseman tied his stick up really well. He couldn't do
Yeah.
anything, and then it just kind of like, it hit him in the.
So I
He
mean,
turned his skate like it wasn't an accident.
Right, but it was not a distinct kicking motion.
No.
either,
Well, he
so.
didn't- you can angle,
but
that's fine.
he angled it purposely to
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
towards the goal.
but I mean, so you can argue that might be a good bounce. You can argue that's one hell of a skill from Marcus Sorensen.
Both. I think both.
Yeah. So no, definitely a winnable game. I mean,
I think
they were,
actually. Sorry, I meant to interrupt. Their second goal, I think, which was bounced off of a Buffalo player. That's more of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And that just completely throws my point out of it, that they did get a lucky bounce because they threw it towards the net and it went off of Buffalo through 5-hole or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean, stuff like that. Weird things are going to happen like that, right? Like in the Carolina game, right? The one that went off the dude's like shoulder or whatever it was. Yeah, I mean, weird things are going to happen in games, and really, the idea is weather the storm through all that stuff. Don't let that stuff get to you. Just go back to playing your game. And when the Sharks are playing their game, we've seen what they're capable of. Right now, Erik Karlsson, I know you've got a little bit of a beef with the way that game ended, and I get that. But when he's on and he's playing his game, which hopefully we'll see later on in the season. Last season, it took him a solid 20-something games before he was really got going. Hopefully this season it starts up a little earlier than that, but
Well, he's going. He's getting his
yeah,
points.
yeah, no, he is. That's for sure. But when he's playing his game, he's absolutely amazing. Apart from that one gaff that he had, I have to say there were several times where he had the puck and just
Absolutely.
just like a magician. Just the puck was here, now it's not, and he's gone. Right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see him play.
He took the puck from his own end, juked a guy, skated it into the zone, passed it off to I'm trying to remember. I think it was LeBanc or somebody, and they almost scored. They didn't score, but there was like they showed the replay again because he just
that might have been the Hurdle one. Hurdle couldn't capitalize
Hurdle.
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the puck went up and hit the netting. Yeah, Hurdle was staring at the ceiling after that one.
Yeah,
It's
his
incredible.
ability to move like I don't know what if you would say horizontally or laterally across the blue line and like keep the puck in, but like with such inches that he's playing with.
And
And then he centers it to the other team.
I look at but I look at folks on socials and saying he's not worth the money and all this other stuff. When you just look at the points and you look at maybe the odd giveaway that he gives, look, he plays a very high risk, high reward style of game. So there are times where he's going to do these things that when you look at it and I see him the way he plays and it's just like, that is just absolutely amazing. How did he do that? If he fumbles the puck, then yeah, he's the worst guy ever. But when he pulls it off, and he pulls it off more often than not, it's pretty amazing to watch. And so like you said, he's starting to get some of his points. Hopefully he starts generating even more because then the people on socials saying 11 million, whatever.
Right, yeah.
Where's this money going? So hopefully, he
'cause
can kind of shut some of those people up. But again, to me, from a skill level perspective, the guy he brings so much to the Sharks and being able to come in across that blue line, break out of the zone, set up these beautiful plays, get guys to just fall over themselves when he's got the puck on one side and they go for it and he just yanks it around them like effortlessly.
Right.
Like it's hard to put a price tag on that stuff, and it may not result in a goal every single time, but without that, that puck's probably getting picked. You got a board battle. Now you've got it stuck in your zone. These little things that can happen throughout a game, and hopefully, you have less of the throw it right in the front of the crease to the other team. But some things are going to happen like that. Again, high risk, high reward. So
going back to the question about the week, it's going to be a rough road trip. They're playing Tuesday against Buffalo. Then they play Thursday against Montreal. Then back-to-back on Friday against Toronto. And then Sunday in Ottawa.
Wow.
That's a brutal trip. And then I think on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, they're playing
Boston.
who's left? Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, they finished their road on the Boston and they come home.
That's a rough trip. I mean, it's a lot of games in not very many days and a lot of travel.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see Aaron Dell against Montreal. And I think they're going to save Jones for Friday against Toronto. That would be my guess. So we'll see Dell get at least one game in there. Hopefully no relief work. But I bet Dell starts Montreal. That'd be my guess because I think Toronto's a stronger team and you're going to want Jones in there.
I think they had mentioned, too, that they want to get Dell more games than they have in previous seasons. The days of a goalie getting 70 games in a season are over, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be good for Aaron Dell to get back in the nets and get that puck again.
Get that trade value up.
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't
kidding.
know,
I'm
man.
kidding.
Like,
I'm just throwing it out to the
sure.
vultures
Why
out
not?
there.
No, if there's a trade to be had, I think I've made it clear what I think.
Right.
Yeah. So if you don't know, well, then you don't know.
So sorry, I'm just going back to like the week ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be brutal. So for this week, there's 4 games. I'd be happy if they got 5 to 6 points, like maybe an overtime loss in there or something.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't really have a prediction because I'm just enjoying watching the games, to be honest. No, but I think it's a lot of good teams. I mean, Buffalo, they just came off a win, right? So
I feel like they're going to be strong against Buffalo.
I do too. But
it's nice that they're playing them back to back and not like at the end. Like it's fresh in their minds and they know everyone.
It just sucks going into their barn, right? After they just got a win against the same exact team, so their confidence is high. The fan base is high because they just came off of that win against that specific team. So it's going to be loud and raucous in that arena, I'm sure.
Well, and they're first place in the Atlantic right now, so their fans are going to be very happy to see them
honestly,
home.
I could care less about standings right now, but
so,
for their fan base, great.
They've started 7-1-1, so they're going to go home after a road win, and they're going to be happy.
We're gonna do a Pretenders episode at the end of this month, so next week, I guess.
That's where I was going with that too. Was there's right now. Well, what happened last season? Who was the pretender last season? It was
Anaheim,
last year.
first
Anaheim
place.
was in first, right? It was Anaheim, Calgary.
They fooled
and
Mike Johnson, buddy.
Vegas, I believe, and then the Sharks. Sharks are in fourth.
Yeah.
Right now, the Sharks are in fourth.
Last?
No, they're not in last.
Second to last, I think. Actually,
LA is
they're in
definitely
seventh.
last.
Yeah. But again, you got Edmonton, Anaheim, Vegas, Calgary, Vancouver,
Well,
Arizona in front of them.
They've played what,
Vancouver
like 9
was the
games?
other one. Vancouver last year was ahead of the Sharks last year.
There you go.
And I was like, nah.
And that's why it's too early to get upset. It's too early to call anything a trend. It's too early to look at the standings. It's too early to say, well, he's not worth $11 million because he only has however many points. Everything right now it's too early to analyze anything. Just really watch and enjoy the games. And as time goes on, again, that 20-game period, Thanksgiving, we start getting a better idea of what you're going to be looking at. It kind of shapes up a little bit more. But even then, I mean, look at St. Louis. Right?
Gonna say that
I know.
every
That's
year.
the thing. Look at St. Louis, though.
Every team's going to say, look at St. Louis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is it too early to trade Jones?
It's too
don't.
late. It's too late to trade
Don't do
Jones.
that.
No, if you're going to do that, you're going to do it in the offseason.
There's a good
No way it
question
happens now.
here. I can't read the name, but hey, boys, if the refs called that icing yesterday,
I was going to get to that. That's my job.
Sorry. It's
Oh,
on the
well,
screen,
because
right?
he's going to say it.
The name is
then it goes on the screen.
HNNB 011000101. Hey, boys, if the refs called that icing yesterday, the following goal wouldn't have happened, right? You can't say that wouldn't have happened, but
No, it literally would not have happened.
That
It would've
goal.
been icing.
another goal, because
Yes.
did they clear it out of the zone at all?
Well, then there's the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
nothing would happen after that. But I think, no, that goal would not have happened. In fact, Pete DeBoer was asked after the game, like, were you upset about that high touch? And he said, well, less about that and more about the icing. I thought the icing should have been icing, and for whatever reason they didn't call it, and they didn't give us an explanation on that.
Yeah.
Did they ever give an explanation? Because again, I was at the arena, so I didn't get the benefit of all that talking. So
his stick came down and tipped it. It was weird because he was throwing his stick down, and the puck actually went up because he hit the top of his blade.
Okay,
and went up. So it was like an optical illusion.
Okay,
yeah. The tip of his stick was up, and I thought that the tip of his stick was above the crossbar, but his bar was below, so it was like almost impossible to tell where his stick actually was.
So
my thing was like, but the puck went down, but it's like no, it actually went up a little bit first.
It was weird. Yeah, it was really weird.
I don't really care about the how. What I care about is you had the call on the ice as no goal, right?
Well, you had it as goal, overturned as no goal.
Yeah.
Then reviewed and it was a goal. Because they on the ice originally they called it a goal, and then somebody else came over and said no, it's high touch, it's no goal. And then they went to an official review.
Then they went to review.
And they said, no, actually, after we reviewed the overturned call, it's been overturned and it's been a goal.
It got overturned twice.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's how do you look at it and go, no, we've made a determination that it's definitively. Now, to overturn the call on the ice, you have to be sure. You have to definitively, yes, we were wrong. We see it now. It's okay now. We got the right call. And then, to me, it's like, why even bother doing a coach's challenge at that point? They've gone through and said definitively we were wrong. Now the second one I think was Toronto. I think that's why.
The call-ins.
I think the Toronto called in and said, "Now hold on a second. We looked at this. You're wrong. You were right the first time."
Right.
Right. So I think that's what it is that happened. But it's just like I don't understand how you can look at it and say it's totally. Then why even have the ref review it then?
I could see both sides of the argument. The argument for the NHL, we need more goals.
Okay.
Like to me. You need more goals. It's bad to call back goals unless it's really bad or really egregious kind of thing. But I think on the NHL standpoint, they want more goals rather than less goals, which is fine. I'm fine with that. What I have a beef with is it's kind of the spirit of the law or the penalty, right? You don't put your stick up the tip because you're going to hit somebody in the face with your stick. It's a safety issue. Now, his point of contact was right below the bar, but he's still swinging his stick. Like that should be. There wasn't really anyone around him, but the whole spirit of the penalty of the law written down is so you're not swinging your stick above shoulder length and hitting people in the face. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's like okay. The point of contact where it hits the puck is it below the bar? Yeah, but man, he's swinging that thing like crazy. That's what I think. That's where the law should kind of change, where it's a discretionary thing of the ref.
I'd love to see where that is the intent of that, having the stick not go up high. I'd love to see where somebody said, but I understand.
How
but
many times do you see Burns swinging his stick up high on that's clears, right?
Great, but I want to see where that is the spirit of that rule. I want to see where somebody from the NHL has determined this is why we have this rule. Not fans like you and me saying, hey, it would make sense because otherwise people get smacked in the face.
I think even Jamie Baker said it last night during the game, during the replay of it, of like, it's the whole point of it is to keep your stick down, so you're not swinging your stick around and hitting people in the head, which I agree with. Like that's the whole point of it. Otherwise, I mean, you can high touch, the other team just has to touch it before your team can.
Right.
So it's allowed, kind of, Yeah. I don't know.
Figure, but my last thing on that, I figure if the rule with your stick is you're always supposed to be in control of your stick, right? No matter what it is. If you accidentally trip somebody, and you have one hand on your stick and be like, oh, it's not me. If they trip over your stick, it's still a tripping call, right? If you usually on the follow through they don't call it, but like if you were like,
that's the only time they don't call it.
They don't call it on a follow through if you shoot and you accidentally hit someone in the face. But if you're doing anything, you turn and you accidentally smack someone, that you're not in control of your stick. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like some people are saying, it doesn't make sense to even to say it's against the rules to have your stick up high and tip it down, because that seems like it's a more skillful thing to try to do. I'm almost to a point where I kind of agree with that, and it's like, if you hit someone in the face, it's a safety issue, but you have to be in control of your stick. Give them a penalty for high sticking then.
I do think the rule is in place way before people were wearing visors or helmets, so the rule should probably change.
Okay.
But that was the original rule was, you lose an eye in the NHL, you're done. You can't play. You legally cannot play.
Willie O'Ree.
No, if you lose your eye.
Yeah, didn't he? Willie O'Ree? Oh, yeah. Look him up. Anyway, we got another one.
Well, I was going to say.
No, it's good. That was a fun discussion. I like that one.
I was
But go ahead.
going to say, speaking of basically like touching the puck, because you're talking about the high touch.
Yeah.
Before anybody else does. So back to that, Ferraro beats out the icing, or no,
Should've.
Ferraro beat whoever it was from the Sabres to the puck. Should have been icing, and they said no. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Just in general.
It's a linesman call. It's a
Yeah.
linesman issue, and you can't. It's not something that's reviewable. Like you can't. DeBoer can't. Throw the challenge flag and be like, "Oh, that was icing." It doesn't work that way. It only works if it should have been offside.
Yeah.
Not that it wasn't offside, because again, if it wasn't offside and they blow the whistle,
Yeah.
the play's dead. So it's a funky thing. I don't want to mess too much with the rules of challenging. I don't think the
Yeah.
coaching staff should be able to say that should have been icing, because it's such a judgment call and you're taking away complete power and
Yeah.
authority from the linesman. So it's one of those hockey plays, and it just sucks for the Sharks.
Yeah,
Should've been icing.
I think it's a little more objective or subjective when you're talking about an icing call. If he would have beat him out or whatever the case is, a call like whether it's offside with the puck, the guy stepping across the blue line is much more like objective, right? It's what happened or what didn't happen. So I think I don't want this to turn to the NFL, right, where everything just goes nuts.
Yeah.
So if you start talking about, well, they can review offsides, why can't they review icing? Well, okay, you actually have a point there, because if you're going to take some of their power away from whether or not it was an offside call, then why not take some of the power away? But then I don't want to go down that route, right, because then everything can start being reviewable. If you can start reviewing whether or not an icing would have, if the guy may have gotten a step on him, but they had to blow the, you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't make any sense to me to go down that route. I think, you know what? It sucks that they got scored on, and it is what it is, but you have to bounce back from that. You have to just play your game. And
Exactly.
that's what the Sharks had to do.
Sharks had plenty of time in the game to take the lead. Plenty of chances, too, to take the lead.
Yeah.
Even to tie the game. I thought they were going to tie it for sure in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They were pressing really hard.
I mean, basically, my point, you can't dwell on that stuff. You can't dwell on, gosh, if they had called icing, right?
Yeah, we would have won the
can't,
game.
yeah, exactly. You can't dwell on that because, hey, if they called icing, maybe somebody gets hurt on the face-off. All of a sudden, we're down a guy, and then they score 5 goals. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
When has that ever happened?
What's that? The Pavelski.
When has that ever happened?
No, yeah, no, but I mean, you just never
4
know.
goals, not 5.
Yeah, it was
Come
4.
on, it was 4.
But you just never know what's going to happen, so you can't really dwell on that stuff. Like, look, it happened, and it's a bummer. But at the end of the day, they had plenty of time, like you said.
Yeah.
They could have got themselves back in that game, and they didn't. So too bad.
Back to the road trip here. Do you guys think that Shemek will be back on this road trip or after?
I would
He's
say after. Jay?
Are we still
we
live
still
or
live?
no? Oh, okay.
Alright.
So I know Prout is with them, and he's closer to return than Shemek is. That's what the latest thing that I
Yeah.
had heard was that Prout was closer to being back.
I don't know. Shimmick's been practicing.
Yeah.
This is from
Without orange jersey?
No, he's been, well, I haven't seen lately, but he was wearing an orange jersey the last that I saw. And the orange jersey is basically the
Do
either
not
I'm a
hit.
total rookie or I don't hit. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically so.
according to what is this, NBC Sports. Sharks Radim Shemek are improving, but not expected to play on road trip.
Yeah.
That's 4 hours ago.
I still think I would say the first week in November, so another 10 days. Not that far away. Probably when they come back from the road trip.
I kind of wonder if they're buying time with Ferraro, like just allowing him to play more.
Well,
just saying
I think
Shemek is still hurt.
If Ferraro was awful
Yeah.
and they really didn't have anyone, I'm sure they'd be pressing him to kind
Yeah.
of. Not that they would press him when he's not ready, but he would probably be coming in the lineup sooner.
Are they in cap trouble if Shemek is back in the lineup?
I don't know
Are
what
we
he's
out of?
making. I have no idea.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they're.
It can't be that much.
I don't know. I'm wondering if they're buying time. Like
I mean, they could just put another person on waivers.
maybe, yeah. I thought they called up Brzezinski too. I thought they had some
they?
call-ups today. They said Trevor Carrick, defenseman,
Yeah.
and Johnny Brzezinski. I think they both got called up.
Probably for the road trip because it's a long
Yeah.
road trip
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's far away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to need an extra depth just in case somebody gets hurt or 2 people get hurt or
Yeah.
whatever.
I do like that Brzezinski got called back up because, he had to clear waivers.
Right.
So any other team could have picked him up. Now, a second go-around, if they push him back down again, I hope he doesn't get picked up on the second go-around because in the very beginning of the season, I think Kurz has talked about this, in the very beginning of the season, teams overvalue their prospects, right? And so they see a guy goes on waivers and they're like, well, we don't really need to pick him up because we got good prospects. We're good to go. At this point in the season, maybe they've taken a look at their prospects and gone, like the Sharks, for instance, have taken a look at some of their prospects and gone, not really as NHL ready as maybe we were hoping. A guy hits the waiver wire that, maybe could fill in and they pick him up, right? So at this point, if Brzezinski doesn't stay on the roster, I'd be a little bit more worried about losing him. I really like him. I like his play. I think he plays a really hard game. He goes in there heavy. He goes in fast. He's not the biggest guy, it doesn't look like, but, he goes in with purpose. And he can score. I've seen him do, some pretty good stuff in practices. So he's a guy that I think is a very complete player. Again, not one of your top line guys, but a very complete player for, that jumbo line, or even playing alongside Gambrell. I think it'd be great.
There was a great article in The Athletic, and it wasn't from Kurz, it was from someone else about exactly that, about waivers and why nobody's claiming anyone.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good players that were on, so many good players. There's probably one or two that were probably claimable by teams. And like you said, GMs kind of value their prospects more. A lot of it has to do with contracts. You're only allowed 50 contracts, and nobody gets to 50. Like, nobody even gets to 49 because they don't want to get stuck in a situation where they can't move anyone, or the only thing you can do is make a trade.
Yeah.
So, how many teams are at, 45 or so contracts? There's not that many. So they're kind of already stuck, and they're also, don't forget, it's a good old boys club. Like, those GMs are all friends with each other. They don't hate each other. They're not cutthroats, so they're not going to get one over one of their buddies kind of thing. So that's another part of it. And there's a bunch of parts. It's not just one reason, right?
Yeah. And I like what Doug Wilson's philosophy is that on trading and whatnot is you aren't trying to get one over on the other guy. What you're trying to do is find a need that you have, find a need that they have, and then try to make it work for both parties, because down the road you may need to have that relationship in place. You don't want to be like, hey, remember that time I fleeced you? That's you want to trade with me again? It's like, no.
Says the guy who got Joe Thornton for a bag of pucks.
Hey, they wanted it. That's the trade they wanted, right? So, whatever.
Noah Claxton has a long question here, so I will read it. It was slightly off topic earlier, but actually you guys are kind of talking trades and contracts.
Okay.
Still, this is way off topic and way too early to talk about, but just curious. This offseason, we have certain players to re-sign, but also know some big names will hit the free agency. If New Jersey begins to tank and Hall is not dealt, do we go after him?
Hall? We don't have the cap space for him.
Mm-hmm.
That right there.
Done.
Hall's going to be close to $10 million, I would think. Probably the 8 to 10.
Right? And it depends on if you don't re-sign Dylan. Let's get real. Vlasic is going to be on this team most likely. Dylan's the last year of his contract. You've got Schimmick. You've got Ferraro. That's 4 NHL ready, we'll say, defensemen on the left-hand side. So you could really do it without having to re-sign Dylan. So that's money saved there too. So between
$3 million,
him, Dell's $2 million, and Melker Karlsson's $2 million, that's a chunk. Plus the cap goes up. It's not. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility.
He's a left winger.
Yeah.
We already have Evander Kane and Timo Meier.
Yes.
So who gets bumped at that third line?
Don't have to get bumped. Learn to play the right wing.
Who?
Anyone. When you get Taylor Hall on your team,
I'm not saying I don't want Taylor Hall. I'm not saying that. I just don't think it's realistic.
Where does Taylor Hall play?
New Jersey.
No.
left wing.
Left wing.
Yes.
Would you rather have, and I'm going to bring this back to you because I know you guys made this argument, an Erik Karlsson who is on the ice for more time, or a Taylor Hall who's really good on one line and maybe the power play?
We already have Erik Karlsson, so I will take a Taylor Hall.
Oh, okay. I mean,
for sure. Oh yeah, the extreme close up. There you go. But no, hey, think about Erik Karlsson feeding Taylor Hall. There you go.
It depends. He already feeds the other team pretty well, so right. It'd be great.
Other guys who would be coming on. Let's say
I say this not being able to skate at all. By the way, just for context.
Let's say Joe Thornton retires after we win the cup this season, right? Because he's done, right?
I think Marlowe. If they win a cup, Marlowe's done too.
$2 million. Thank you. That's another $2 million. Like that.
Marlowe.
I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. It certainly could happen. I wouldn't say this is more of an NHL 20 move, right? This is a franchise mode.
Oh,
move.
that's something I would do in NHL 20
Absolutely,
for sure.
yeah.
I think it's something I did do in NHL 20. Now
There
that I
you
think
go.
about it.
But in real life, it's not like so far fetched that it couldn't possibly happen. It certainly could happen.
And all, but autocorrect. We couldn't go after Hall because we don't have any salary space and we'd have to give up more than we want. But Noah Claxton goes, wouldn't it be more realistic then for rental trade kind of like Nyquist last year?
I think that'd be more realistic, you mean?
That's definitely more realistic. Just getting him on the team just for the playoff run.
Not Taylor Hall.
What?
Getting Taylor Hall on the team for a playoff run?
I think it's more realistic. Well, if you're just adding him to the team just for the firepower. Now, I'd rather add him to the team and then like pitch him to like come and stay. I mean, a guy of that caliber.
What he's asking though is to trade at like the deadline.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking. Is that what he's asking?
Joe, is that what he's asking? Trade at the
He's
deadline?
talking about getting Taylor Hall at the trade deadline, like just as a rental player, if New Jersey tanks.
I'm guessing he just says like Nyquist last year, so I'm guessing the same kind of idea. You bring him in for the end of the season, then
I don't think Taylor Hall's going anywhere. I don't think they're going to trade him, and I think they're using him as a building block for their team. They're trying to convince him to stay because they just drafted
Hischier, Nico Hischier, and Hughes.
Yeah. So I mean, they have some really good pieces. For their future, they're going to be a really good team, probably another year or two. But I mean, Taylor Hall's going to sign an 8-year deal.
Okay, so you think
I
that
don't think
he
he's
resigns?
leaving.
You think he
Yeah.
resigns with Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lou Lamoriello is there now or no? I forgot where he's at now.
No,
not Lou anymore.
it's not Lou anymore.
Lou's somewhere else, but he's consulting somewhere else. I can't remember where.
Okay. Sure.
Someone could say it in the comments.
So in this hypothetical, Matt F wants to know: do the Sharks have the trade stock to get Hall at the deadline?
No.
Not right now. They'd have to
This is
fire
enough-
sale. I mean, what do they?
Okay.
It's
What
enough
would-
Taylor Hall?
hypothetical,
talk.
Again,
It's not happening.
now let's do a little. What would New Jersey want, right? You can't say, "Oh, we'll give them
Bag of
Joe
bucks.
Thornton," or even you know what I'm saying. You can't give them like asset that's
Right,
got
they
like
give
a
him
year or
Ryan
two left.
Merkley.
Yeah, you'd want to give them. They would want to have like a top end prospect or a guy who's really established. So like a Timo Meyer.
Probably
or-
Timo Meyer and Ryan Merkley.
Right, yeah.
Like,
So that's
and
what
some
they'd be
draft
asking
picks.
for. So the question is, are you willing to give up a guy like Timo Meyer and a prospect like Ryan Merkley and probably a pick or something like that along with it for a guy that
He's
know
only
is,
there.
is
A
phenomenal?
rental,
but
a rental player, basically.
well, if you're going to do that, you're doing the same thing you did with Erik Karlsson. You're convincing him to stay.
Right, happened. I think
Okay.
he'd go right back to New Jersey.
Really?
Yeah.
You think he'd go back to New Jersey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you really think Taylor Hall loves New Jersey then?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
There you go. You heard it here.
All right.
We're doing New
enough-
Jersey news too now.
Enough Taylor Hall talk. Get on with it.
Get on with it. Yes,
Nick-
get on with it.
Get on with it. Nicholas Egan asks: the league touted new player tracking technology for the season, but I feel like I haven't seen any of that yet on the broadcasts.
They pushed it back
Yeah.
to
They changed companies.
playoffs. They changed companies, and they think they pushed it back to this. They promised it for this upcoming Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll probably see it for the All-Star game again. They said they'll probably roll it out for a few random games throughout the season. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I don't know if it would work for the outdoor game because you need the sensors up above, right? So that wouldn't work.
Drones, bro.
But I know
Just hover the sensors.
Every single one of them.
I think it was announced in the summertime that it got pushed back because they changed companies, which is a bad sign. Very bad sign for
Yeah.
that kind of technology.
Yeah.
So it's some company in Germany now that took over, or Italy or Germany.
If you're interested in what that tech is kind of looks like and some of the other stuff that they were talking about unveiling, we did have an episode that was centered around the All-Star game that was here in San Jose last season. I don't recall the episode number. Maybe you could figure out what that is. But
or you just link it.
or just link it or something. Basically, they were talking about some of the player tracking technology, even the puck technology. They have pucks that have the NHL logo on it in like white, I think is what it was. But when it's cold enough to use for play, it color changes the white to purple,
Like a certain
like a mood ring.
adult beverage.
It's a what?
Yeah.
It's a
When the
mood
Rockies
puck.
are cold.
Okay, yeah, sure. There you go. When the Rockies are cold. All right. It's a mood puck.
Right.
It's a mood puck.
Sure.
Is what it is. So when it's cold enough to actually play with, because they're saying it actually does change the way that the puck bounces and everything when it's a warm puck versus when it's cold like it's supposed to be. So
Pucks are frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but pucks are literally frozen. They're sitting in the freezer, and they change them out every time they get a stoppage in play. They'll change out the puck. You'll see the linesmen, usually the linesmen, because they're doing the face-offs. They'll skate over to the
scorekeeper area.
Scorekeeper, yeah, and they get a new puck. And then the scorekeeper will usually throw the puck over the glass, like with the old ones. They don't keep them.
They don't throw them back in the freezer?
I don't
they have
think
a little
so.
Under like a
no,
mini
because
fridge
it's like scratched up and banged up, so they don't want to. They have like, you've seen the beginning of the game when they stack up the pucks. There's so many pucks, so it doesn't matter. They don't need to reuse them. So it's like baseball. There's baseballs everywhere. So they keep them frozen, and you notice like when the puck doesn't, or when the play doesn't stop for a long time, the puck doesn't settle as much. It rolls around and bounces around a little bit more because it gets warmer.
Yeah. And that was one of the things they were trying to avoid by using that technology, was being able to see that, okay, yeah, it's purple, so we can use this puck.
Like it matters.
I know.
They're just going to change it out.
Whatever.
It's just something cool and different and new.
More or less.
Pretty much it.
But anyway, so I don't know if he's linked it or not, but was it
the Doug episode?
I think it was the...
No,
not the Doug episode.
Because you got that, and then you basically have the...
All-Star game.
It was All-Star
like
game.
February.
Yeah.
Oh, All-Star games.
Yeah.
Yeah, All-Star. So basically, if Joe can't figure it out, just find the All-Star game episode that we had.
Yeah, just find it.
Yeah, just find it. Just find it. And we talked a little bit about that and got some
behind-the-scenes stuff.
Cool stuff. Yeah. That was fun. It was a lot of fun, actually, when they had the All-Star game.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anyway. Got another comment or question for us?
Well, now I'm looking for an All-Star.
Well, now he's looking for the All-Star thing. What are we supposed to do?
No, there was.
You know what? Why don't we do this? You think for just a second.
Don't
I just
do it
want
to
to go
me.
ahead and
Don't
plug.
do it to me.
I want to plug real quick the Super Chat. If you guys are enjoying the live show or enjoying any of our content, please feel free to support us. 2 ways. 1, Super Chat, right down there. So go ahead and make sure that your comment or question gets seen by Super Key Grip Joe. If you do that, it'll support the show and all that we do here, and we will absolutely say we appreciate you. Other than that, the other way you can support the show is through our merch. Right behind Aaron here, you've got the Fin Factor, the gray shirt. It's honestly, I'm not joking, honestly, like the most comfortable shirt that I own.
Super soft. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So there's teal, there's gray, there's black. There is the black deep V cut for the women, and there are hats as well as stickers, and that is a cool zoom. Thank you so much for that. Wow. So anyway, yeah, please feel free to visit the store, thefinfactor.com, and up in the corner there's the 3 little lines. Tap that. Support the show, because that is what you're doing. You're supporting us, and we do appreciate it. And then take a look at any of our products that are there. Also, we're still doing Patty. We're still doing the discount.
We are.
Free shipping by using discount code PATTY, P-A-T-T-Y, which may or may not show up on the bottom of your screen. I don't know. But it's P-A-T-T-Y. That'll get you free shipping anywhere in the U.S., Alaska, and Hawaii included. Go ahead. You got another comment or question?
Yeah, Sharks fan 27. How dope was it having Urbe at the tank last night?
That was cool.
Really
Really
they show
cool.
on the screen?
Yeah, they did. Well, they even had him with, like, John Root was up there, like, he's chatting up with them a little bit. I think he was on the radio and on TV broadcast as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's just really, really cool seeing Urbe. My wife Tina, she liked Urbe when she first kind of came here, and like the Sharks were playing, and she was like, oh, Urbe, he's cool. It was funny though, because she doesn't recognize him without the mask.
Yeah.
So she's like, and they're like, this guy. She's like, okay. And then he's like, Urbe. She's like, what? Couldn't recognize him at all. It's like so funny. But yeah, no, it was really cool. Anytime you get those Sharks alumni coming to the tank and getting the crowd pumped up and ready to rock and everything. He's like, yeah, I want you guys to get loud just like I'm used to, how back in the day and everything. So it was just really cool seeing him there. And
he's a goalie coach now, I think.
Is he really?
I know he had been for Carolina for a long time.
You know who would know?
Essen.
Yeah.
I wonder if Essen got to see him and talk to him.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
I wonder if Essen's watching right now.
I'm sure he's not. He's busy. That guy is super busy all the time. By the way, go check if you got anything gear wise you need repaired. Check out Bay Area Hockey Repair. I'm gonna plug him. I don't care. The guy deserves it. He's awesome. He works really, really hard, and he works his fingers literally to the bone. So go ahead, Joe.
Speaking of Sharks fan 27,
Okay.
$9.99 in the super chat.
Thanks, buddy.
Just for the support. Great show, guys.
Thanks, man. I really do appreciate it. Again, everything you guys do, get to us, help support everything that we're doing here, and we will be moving into another studio very soon.
Keep saying it too.
That certainly does help. So thank you. What? Keep saying what?
We're moving into
We
studio
will
B.
be. It's going to happen.
We will. Just don't say very soon.
Right.
It will be.
Very soon is arbitrary.
Yeah.
Right.
It could mean like January.
Time is
of 2021. Very soon. Super soon. No, we're working on it. We're working on it.
All right, then we also got Lundy87 on the heels of that with $1.99. I
Nice.
caught your Holy Grail reference. It's a great movie.
Get on with it. That one, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, cool. Thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, we need more Monty Python references if we're going to get Super Chat from it. So let's do it.
We could do an entire Monty Python live now. Nathaniel Rice. Do you guys remember that guy?
Yes.
From the Avalanche
Colorado.
here?
Yeah.
Hey, guys. Hope everything's doing great outside the show. Been pretty busy with work, so I haven't got a chance to enjoy your live videos. I am surprised to see how well the Avs have been playing.
I'm not.
I'm not.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
I know they added some pieces. I mean, they added
Kadri.
Donskoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Donskoy.
that gave them a pretty good solid two scoring lines instead of one. The emergence of Makar. Yeah, just unbelievable. And their goaltending. Grubauer was not the starter beginning last year. Varlamov was. And I knew, there are a lot of people that were at least in the fantasy circles, that knew that Grubauer was eventually going to take over. He's the better goalie. Varlamov gets hurt. It was just a matter of time, kind of like a John Gibson situation where he's going to get hurt eventually, and Grubauer is going to take over, and then that's it. That's going to be all she wrote, and that's exactly what happened last year.
So just for Nathaniel, do you think that Colorado is a contender or a pretender?
Definitely a contender.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think they're going to win the division. They're probably going to come, I don't want to say crashing down to earth. That's not quite the right word, but no, but I mean, they're not going to crash down into last place. They're going to. There's some other teams that will.
Yeah.
But I think Colorado's definitely going to make playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of push both the Sharks, Vegas, and Calgary as those top three spots. Calgary's going to be right in there.
There you go.
Lundy87 again with more Monty Python. $1.99 in the super chat. Favorite Holy Grail scene is for you guys, but his is the one with the witch.
Oh, burn her!
Burn her anyway!
No, I like the rabbit, the bunny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sharp pointy
Yeah,
teeth.
that. You can't see it, but he's doing the sharp pointy teeth. Yeah. Yeah, he's solid. Gosh, this show just turned.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we definitely love that one. I got to watch that one again soon. So,
All right.
thank you again.
Actually, wait. We had a whole thing when we went to the arena last time, and Jason was pushing all the gear from really far away. I was like, it's just like the Monty Python thing, where he's and he's really far away, and then all of a sudden he's there. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, it starts over what, like 6 times, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just
Sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I have to film my own.
If any of you guys are local and like watching Monty Python, maybe we'll get together or something. Because Joe's into it too. So anyway.
I was going to say real quick on the note of the Avs, and somebody mentioned that the Avs aren't in the Pacific, but they are in the Western Conference.
Sorry.
But that out of the 3 teams we played last year, I wouldn't mind watching that matchup again. I with a passion dislike watching them play Vegas, and it's not because Aaron's not a fan of the fans, I believe. I'm not a fan of watching how just inept the Sharks look at times playing the Knights. So, but watching them play the Avs, I was like, this is a really good, and that one could have gone either way. And then the Blues, I actually was having some issues with work and issues with people online, so that's why I had to bow out of the playoffs last year. But it was like, out of the 3 teams, I would have actually been okay if the Avs had beat us. If we were going to go out at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
There were a lot of St. Louis trolls last year. I remember that.
Well,
I was shocked. I was shocked because they kind of outdid the Vegas ones. That's why I was shocked.
okay.
Because I thought Vegas was.
I think it's the further you got into the playoffs too.
That
so.
too.
Then maybe the Vegas fans aren't that bad.
The more you know.
No, they're pretty bad.
All right, Nicholas again. I'm gonna go to him real quick. With a full healthy D, what do you think the pairings should be?
Sorry.
It's gonna be a good meme right
Got the
there.
extreme close.
Say it again.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. One more time.
I said with a full healthy defense, what do you think the pairings should be?
I don't know. That's the hardest thing for me, dude. I don't know because I don't want to see Ferraro get pushed down. I think he belongs in the NHL.
He's so
I really
good
do.
right now.
And again, I know what Aaron's going to do. He's going to say, but it's still early. He's going to peter out after maybe 15 games or whatever it is.
Is it really good that he's getting 11 minutes a night versus 20 plus down in the AHL level?
20 plus
for
against
development.
20 plus against AHL caliber guys versus even that 11 minutes against that competition. Dude, I think it's invaluable.
When Shimmick's healthy,
yeah.
that pushes him down.
No, it does. It does. It absolutely does. But that's my dilemma, is that I would love to see Ferraro continue to get NHL quality time. But
He's just not going it this year.
I don't think he'll get it this year. So I think next season what you'll see is, I mean, again, you've got Dylan. We just talked about this. You got Dylan on his last year. I feel like even if you don't re-sign him, you're okay as long as Ferraro can handle an 82-game season. If you can, you don't really need Dylan there. And I like Dylan. I think Dylan's great. I think he's played phenomenal so far. I don't have a problem with him. But when you've got two guys that are younger, probably more talented, right? Have a higher ceiling, we'll say, and they don't cost as much.
What are the pairings going to look like once Šimik is back? That's most likely.
Yeah, so that one's tough because automatically your mind goes to Šimik Burns, right?
Let's just go not right away, but let's say in 2 months when everyone's fully healthy, what are the pairings going to be? The normal pairings.
So the inclination is to say Šimik Burns, and I think that's where it kind of falls off the rails. Because if you do Šimik Burns, you're doing either Vlasic Carlson.
That's what I think.
And then what, Dylan and Proud or Dylan Heed, right? I think, I don't know, I could be wrong here, but I kind of feel like you're going to get Dylan with Carlson, you're going to get Vlasic with Burns, and Šimik is going to play alongside of Heed or Prout. And I know Šimik was the Wookiee Whisperer last season, right? But if Vlasic is able to play alongside Burns, wouldn't you rather have that set up? I don't know. To me, that just makes more sense.
What was that, $14 million on one pairing?
Yeah.
Well, and I think Andy Van brings up a good point, and this was what I was kind of mentioning. We don't know what we're going to get in Šimik. He mentions, I think people are giving Šimik too much credit. Remember, he has a grand total of 41 games in the NHL in his career.
Yep.
It's unrealistic to know what we're going to get back when he comes back.
We talked about this last week, I think, how we don't know, like, the perfect example is Joakim Ryan.
Yeah.
Joakim Ryan was the Wookiee Whisperer, and then he
wasn't.
And now he's not even in the NHL. So that's what could happen to Šimik. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope it's not going to happen, but it's always a possibility, especially the guy who's only played 41 games. He played literally half the season last year. That's it. Plus playoffs. Oh, no playoffs.
No playoffs.
He was hurt. Yeah, that's it. 41 games.
Matt F asks if Ferraro can. I'm getting better at saying his name.
Nice.
If Ferraro can produce with EK65 like Šimik and Burns, does Dylan get moved?
I don't think anyone's going to get moved this season.
Personal thought here.
Yeah.
Last season we got hit with the injury bug late in the year, especially on defense. So if we have guys who are proven on defense, while we may not want to see it, Ferraro goes down again.
Yeah.
Because one, you can because the way his contract has worked, right?
Exactly.
So you can't do that with Dylan.
Yep.
And if you get rid of him, Ferraro doesn't play well or gets injured, you got to replace him with who?
Yep.
I'd say the only reason or the only way that it would be a trade is if Ferraro was on a one-way contract.
I don't. Yeah, for sure. I don't think you manage your team thinking one of my guys is probably going to get injured. At the same time, I'm with you guys on Ferraro being pushed down.
I think you have to manage your team.
No.
Expecting someone to get hurt.
But I don't think you should get. We should keep. Well, now you're talking about keeping Ferraro and keeping Heed.
No, because Ferraro you can send down and call up if someone gets hurt.
That's fine. But I'm just saying you can't spend like money on your roster thinking, well, what if two of my guys get hurt, right? Because like last season we had Šimik and Heed, both of them were sitting in the wings, right? We had sat two defensemen every single game.
Yeah, in the beginning of the season.
And then we had injuries, and they were able to play. Okay, great. We had some freak injuries too, though. So
Šimik didn't even really start until December. He started the game. I think it was the game in Montreal where they had the talk.
Yeah.
And he started, and he just didn't let up from that point on.
But in terms of Šimik, being the player that we all kind of remember him being or not, I mean, that's the impression that we have. So that's really all we can go off of right now, right? So. Hopefully when he gets back, yes, he'll be good enough to step right back in and do it. That's also why I'm saying I don't think you're going to see him necessarily alongside Burns. You might see him on that bottom pairing because, again, you've already got like the big three and you want them to be all playing together. And it seems like Carlson is playing well alongside of Dylan. So why mess that up, right? Why monkey with that at all? And you can't put Šimik alongside Burns with Dylan alongside Carlson because that means Vlasic is in the third pair. Those big three, they need the minutes. So that's why I see it the way that I kind of laid it out.
That's why.
But who knows?
I think Vlasic will be with Burns.
Yeah.
Carlson with Dylan.
Joe.
So Matt F is also he has an asterisk here.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if that is, do we move Dylan then to open cap space for a deadline for a forward?
I just don't see it.
I can see it happening, but I don't think that it will. I think that if you're making a push for a cup, I think Dylan is your best option right now because again he's been playing with Carlson. You want that familiarity.
Chemistry.
You want that chemistry. You want that. So I don't think you monkey with that by taking him out of the equation just to bring a winger in, and then your defense is kind of confused again. So I don't think that'll happen. I wouldn't mind seeing us bring in another winger. It's not going to be Taylor Hall, but I wouldn't mind seeing us bring in another winger for some mishmash of our other assets. But I mean, will it happen? Who knows?
I saw. I think on. I can't remember if it was our comments or on Twitter, but Nikolai Ehlers.
Okay.
I think his name Ehlers. He's in Winnipeg, because everyone knows Winnipeg is desperate for defensemen. So trading one of our defensemen for Ehlers. Yeah. He's great because he can go on the left or right wing. So most likely on the right wing when he gets here. He kind of reminds He reminds me a little bit of Donskoy, like a possession type winger. Donskoy and Nyquist.
Okay.
Kind of the same kind of playmaker in a way. Possession style playmaker on the wing. That I actually think that sounds like it's plausible, moving one of our defensemen over to that. The other one we were talking about on Twitter, we were going back and forth with some Montreal people too about trading Vlasic to Montreal. I don't know. I could see it happening, but I don't. Vlasic has a full no trade clause, so he could say no to anything.
But don't you think if there was one team he would want to go to?
No, I don't think he wants to. That's the thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that before. He was just like, I don't want to play there because you're really? Under a microscope and you're dealing with the media, which he hates. Like, think about that.
That's true.
But on the Montreal side, of course they want a French-speaking Canadian,
right?
He's from either Montreal or right outside of it. So that's another one that could happen. That to me that would open up. That's going to open up way more cap space than anyone else.
Anybody else?
He's making $7 million.
Yeah.
But at the same time, losing Vlasic, man, you saw what happened when he was missing a couple playoff games. The Sharks do not win.
Mm-hmm.
So he is a very silent member of the defense that helps the Sharks go, and has been for a long time.
Yeah.
What about this? What if Lundy 87 trade Dylan for Braun?
Do-over?
No, Demers.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was Demers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's saying bring Braun back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not happening.
All right, I got a question.
Thank you for that, but no.
Hold on. Real quick, let's do roll call. Let's get that in there.
Shabuya.
Tell us where you're watching, how you found us, and
your favorite Monty Python quote.
And zoom in on.
Yeah. Sure. Favorite Monty Python quote. Throw it in there. If there's room.
Noah Claxton.
Okay.
I'm going to hit you guys with a tough question.
Kapow.
Who is your favorite player? And you can't say I can't choose.
Right now?
Right now.
Like on this year's team?
I'm asking you right now. It just, you know what? It doesn't say it. It says, who is your favorite player? It doesn't even say Sharks. Just who is your favorite player? You can't say I can't choose. Just if you had to choose.
My son.
Mine is Burns. Not me. And Noah's.
Okay.
Your favorite is your son?
My son.
All right.
He's phenomenal.
All right, now what about Sharks player?
I can't choose.
You can't. Because they might be listening.
They will be listening. They like watching the show.
Yeah.
They really do. Yeah. When I drop them off at school, they're like, "Can you?
Hi, Cole.
Is there a new episode?" Yes.
Hi, Jace. Hi, Cole. They're upset about both.
Dead
ways.
serious.
I'm going to say Eric Carlson's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I might get an Eric Carlson jersey.
Wow.
Oh man.
Hey, it's safety. He's here for 8 years.
That's true. Yeah.
It'll last
How much are his jerseys?
If you get an authentic one, probably
you gotta pay extra.
$200.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You said Burns.
No. Noah said Burns.
Oh, Noah said. Who's
yours?
Favorite?
Was Pavelski, wasn't it?
I like to call Pavelski the hardest working man on the team because I felt like he not even first round pick. He was underrated and he just played hard. And then I liked watching Donskoy play as well.
Yeah.
I think Joe Thornton though, all over for as much as I just am wincing every time he touches the puck this year, I love watching Joe Thornton play, and I just want to see him do so much better than he currently is.
Yeah, and it's almost cliche to say Joe Thornton's my favorite player, but he really is, and that's not
Plus, he's
because
got the best name.
It's not because he is the biggest point getter on the team anymore, but I've seen him at practices, and the guy is just always having so much fun. Like he's a kid.
Yeah.
He's a 12-year-old kid. You know what I mean? He's just out there goofing off, laughing. I don't know if you saw like They had him mic'd up during a practice or whatever. He still got it. It's just like, really? He's just the biggest child you'll ever meet. With the most facial hair. It's just ridiculous. And he's just so much fun to watch. And I hope that he plays a little bit better than we've seen so far this season. And he's not even doing poorly necessarily, but there are a few times where I'm like, oh, Joe. But like,
I think it stands out. Like, so in the game against the Sabres,
night,
they passed him the puck and he's like, and he brought it into their own zone, dropped it, had to recover it, dropped it again. And like, they got extended defensive time because of that. It was
and again, I would hate to see him kind of go out like that, but no,
I don't think he will, because he also had an amazing assist the other night too. So
yeah, no, I mean, for me, I love the guy, and not even just as a hockey player. I just think he's just an awesome dude. Like seeing him again, I get to see him at practices a lot. So like when I see the Joe Thornton that most people don't see when he's on the ice and he's like focused, laser focused, and everything. When it's a practice, it's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit looser, and the times he goes up to Kaner and Kane's just sitting on the boards like not paying attention like to Joe. He's paying attention to what's going on. He's just leaning up against the glass, and Joe comes over and just bam, gives him a nice shoulder, pops him, and then Kane, of course, Kane's playing with him. He hits the boards, he goes he like fake falls all over the place. It's just the chemistry that he has with every single member of that team and how much fun they have, and it all centers around Joe Thornton, and it's just that's one of the reasons I just love the guy. Yeah.
One of the things I remember watching on TV was amazing was he was trying to this was back when Burns was a temporary forward, and he's trying to explain what Burns needs to be doing, and Burns is completely checked out, and he's just shaking his head as if he's listening, and he might be, but he's just like and like Thornton's like intently like, no, you can't just skate around.
Yeah.
You need to do things. And I think Burns was just like that was actually pre-Beards, I think. That was so long ago at this point. But
yeah, no, it's their characters. I mean, it'll be weird seeing like the Beard brothers not together when Joe decides he's hanging them up.
I think this is last year.
Yeah.
Regardless of what
I kind
happens,
of
I think it's done.
Kind of agree with you, but I wouldn't mind seeing him go more. You just gotta be able to continue to play at this level.
Patty, though, I think Patty can go another year.
Yeah,
he's playing.
Patty's got the wheels for it, and not that speed is ever.
History too.
I was like, but Thornton's never been quick.
Yeah.
Is he as quick as he usually? That's the thing. He's usually made up for quickness with like technique, and I feel like this week he's just been, or this week. Yeah. Well, looking at the couple of games, sure. I'm just hoping it's like a crankshaft kind of thing, and not Douglas Murray in this sense, but like it's going to take him a little while to get going, and then quarter to midway through the season, he hits a stride. He gets, 30, 40 assists, and, goes into the playoffs and just participates and does well. I don't need him to be an 80-point guy.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for out of Joe. I hope that, guy deserves a cup. I hope he gets one, whether or not it's with San Jose. I hope he gets one.
It better be with San Jose.
It'll be with San Jose if he gets it, I'm sure. But
I don't think he's going.
The only way he goes anywhere else is if we're not a playoff team and we trade him off to somebody else. So whatever. Anyway, any other last comments?
Well, amidst all of the roll calls here, we did have Deuces Shoeless who asked the question: how long before you see the Sharks becoming a lottery team or having to rebuild?
Never. You know why? Doug Wilson's at the helm.
Yeah, seriously.
So once Doug Wilson's gone,
that's
when they also.
Even then, I bet his son's going to take over. I think he's getting groomed.
Well, isn't Burke the assistant GM now? He was the head of scouting.
I thought they were sharing the title.
No, I think Burke is assistant GM now because he was the head of scouting, moved into that role, and Junior moved into the head of scouting.
I still don't think Burke would take over.
No?
I bet Doug Senior's there for another 5 years at least.
Okay.
And then we'll see Doug Wilson Jr., I think, come on and take over. That would be my guess.
There you go.
I have no inside information. I know nothing, but yeah.
But he's usually right. So. Which, by the way, if you want to hear more about Aaron being right on his predictions, you should probably hit that subscribe button, which is down there somewhere over there. Make sure that you click that and hit the notification button there so that you know when we are going live, just like we are right now, or when we have a video or a new episode coming out like
Today?
Tomorrow? Today.
We had one come out today.
I didn't even know we're having one today.
Yeah.
It just dropped. I was like, oh, we have a new episode. Sweet. But maybe tomorrow, I don't know, when we have our next episode available to you guys. So when you do hit that button, obviously, it will send you an email, let you know that we have something for you to watch.
Also, a big thank you. We hit 2,000 subscribers, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
That's mind-blowing. I have to get on like Facebook or something like that and do like a big thank you to everybody as well, because it's just amazing. But, I mean, our main audience is obviously here. YouTube, 2,000 subs. Our Twitter's getting pretty big now, like 1,400 or something like that.
Yeah, it's
so
growing.
I'll have to put some out there too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for subscribing to us and sharing us with all of your friends and whatnot. That 2,000 mark came way faster than I ever thought it would. I thought we'd be here for a good 10 years. Before we hit like $2,000, but we got a comment on screen.
Well, no, I was going to say, first off, I imagine everybody here watching the live is probably subscribed, so thank you to everybody who's tuning in. But also, SharksFan27 chiming in again with $4.99 in the super chat.
Oh,
I have to say, the best fight I've seen has to be Staubitz versus Tutu.
Yes, I agree. You can Google that one, and it's brutal if you're squeamish. But I think I was at that game.
really?
And I hated Jordan Tutu.
I still do.
I mean, he was just one of those guys that was just, you always wanted him to get his kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? Like he chirps so much and does some stupid stuff and then turtles when it comes to fighting. So you just wanted him to get it, and Staubitz just, I feel bad because now I know what Tutu is going through.
Right.
But man,
But at the time,
just smashed his face in. It was a brutal fight. It was one of the most brutal fights I've seen. Yeah. A lot of blood.
Maybe not.
Little discretion.
Yeah,
there.
don't search
If
for
you're
it if you
squeamish,
can't.
Don't search for it. But hockeyfights.com has, I think, every archived hockey fight.
Okay.
So that's a good place to go look for it.
So mature audience suggested for blood and gore. So there you go. We're all good? Solid? Yes? Okay, great. Well, hey, guys, thank you again for tuning in. We do appreciate it. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you're not, what are you doing with your life? For the rest of it, feel free to pop into our store again, pick up some of our merch. We do thank you guys for all the super chat. That does really help us out a lot. I know it's a couple bucks here and there, but it does add up, and it really does help us out quite a bit. So for those of you who were able to do that for us tonight, we thank you wholeheartedly. So thanks. For super producer Jason, super cute grip Joe, I am Paul.
And I am Aaron.
And we will see you guys
tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Depends. Bye.
Bye.